Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Galahad Dayne and welcome to Crusader Kings 2. Now, we are playing a very special game today. Let's go into a new game and let's go at the earliest start date possible, which is 769 AD. We will be choosing a custom game setup and going over to Wessex. If you guys have watched a couple of past videos on the channel before, I uploaded the House of Wessex trailer, which meant that we are going to be definitely playing in Wessex. Now, what I love to do in my playthroughs is, since I'm a little bit of a medieval history nerd, I like to give a little bit of a background or a story to the characters that I'm going to be playing. Now, as we see Cedric here, or Kurdising, however you like to pronounce his name, was one of the founders of the dynasty. It was either founded in, I would say, the early 6th century by Heinrich or Kurdic, one of the two. It is still a mystery up to this day. But one of the two founded the dynasty and the other picked off of there. He is probably one of their ancestors since it's 200 years later. Yeah, there were very, very special kings that came out of Wessex. King Egbert being one of the two great kings, and King Alfred, who is the only Anglo-Saxon king to ever have the name Great posted right next to his name. They used to call him King Alfred the Great after all the great deeds that he did. He indeed stopped the Vikings in their tracks. All the Northmen coming from, you can say, Norway, Scandinavia, and Denmark in general. They would call them Danes because mostly Danes would be ruling here in England after they started pillaging and they started making themselves comfortable. They started settling down and they took over Northumbria, Mercia, some of the Wales, all over the East Anglian kingdoms, Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, and Kent. And yeah, Wessex was one of the last bastions of hope for basically all of the British, you could say, populace all over. And they were kind of like the last beacon of light for them to fight back against the invaders and take their land back. So with that out of the way, let's actually select our character and start this game. Let's go over the rules. Sunset Invasion just turned off. Everything is set to historical, just the way I like it. Now, I like to play these games in a very different way. I don't play it the best way it's supposed to be played with, like, you could say, the best. I'm not the most precise player, you could say, but I like to basically be very roleplay-ish, RPG-ish with my Crusader Kings 2. I like to know who's who, and I like to get into the details of my realm and try to rule that way, as opposed to the best way to play Crusader Kings 2. So this is going to be an Iron Man game. Let's start the game. There we go. And as this is loading in, let's talk a little bit about King Egbert, who is also one of the forgotten kings of Wessex. He did a great thing for Wessex. He brought in Mercia in the fold, and he eventually ended up becoming king of both Wessex and Mercia. But then after that, one of the future kings after that lost Mercia. But King Alfred, however, brought in Mercia back into the fold, and he basically pushed the Viking invaders back. So, you are an Anglo-Saxon Catholic feudal lord, and you're playing as an Anglo-Saxon king. Very good. Let us go to the realms map mode and sort out our realm. Now, what we can do right here is not lead any armies, and we have a son who is okay. He's not the best, actually, Beothric, and I myself am King Kindwolf. So let's actually take a look at the decisions that we need to make. Our Chancellor has a learning of, I would say, a chancellorship of diplomacy of 12. We have somebody who is better, Elmond, who is a courtier in Wessex. So you, my man, can get to be the new chancellor. Very good. And he's our kinsman too. Our marshal can be somebody who is... actually, no, you're okay of a marshal. Steward, very good stats there. Our spy master needs to be somebody with a higher learning. And here can be our spy master, and our court chaplain needs to be somebody with a bit more learning. Lothar can be our court chaplain. So now let's basically study some cultural tech, send our spy master over to study some technology over in Byzantium, one of my favorite places to place a spy master, because I mean, look at all these holdings right here. Look at them, they are very advanced, but we're not here to talk about Byzantium, we are here to talk about Wessex. Okay, so the rest of the guys, you, my good man, can train some troops here, and what you can do is fabricate a claim for me on either Sussex or Surrey, one of the two. Let's take Sussex first, and collect taxes, please. Now that our council is set up, let's go over to the minor titles and give those out. You can be... Should I have my son? Yeah, my son can be the designated regent. Court physician is obviously the guy with the highest stats in learning. Master of the horse, Ethelwald can be... he's the Earl of Withwarra too. And, oh wow, it said he has some good stats in stewardship, that's for sure. So anyway, going back to that, let's basically hand out all our titles that we need to. Let's make you the Master of the Hunt, sir. Let's make you the High Almoner, because you have the best learning. And our Cupbearer can again be our son, because we don't want to be getting poisoned, ladies and gentlemen. Court Tutor, Elmond is a better Chancellor, I mean, and his stats are pretty decent, so let's give it to Elmond, right? Our commanders are not too great, but I don't plan to going to war anytime soon, as this very first episode is just setting up the scene here, as we just get all this, I would say, stuff that people usually do early game, get all this dilly-dallying out of the way. Let's choose a goal to build a war chest. I love how I say that we're not going to be expanding aggressively, and I choose the war chest focus and the war focus, but still, it's always good to have those early on. We have some great works here, though. We have Stonehenge over here in Wessex. I believe it's in the county of Wiltshire. So, yeah. And let's actually see what titles can be created. Let's go over to the de jure titles. County of Somerset and the county of Bath right there. So we might be a little bit over our domain size. What we will do is actually give our son a landed title. Let's grant him a landed title, and let's give him the county of Somerset. There you go, my good man. You can take over the county of Somerset, and we can give over one of our vassals. Let's see here. Heothric, you, my good man, you can have the county of Bath right there. There you go. Let's just ask our spy master to... Our spy master left. Okay, let's make you... No, let's actually invite somebody to court who can be a better spy master. Let's go join court. Search all. Diplomacy range, yes. Any religion, my religion. Any culture, my culture group. This Anglo-Saxon guy has a intrigue of 13. He is deceitful though and ambitious, but he's all we have right now. So let's invite him to the court, and when he gets here, we will hopefully ask him to be our spy master. There you go. You can be spy master, good man. What you need to do is go over to Constantinople. Constantinople is not the only good place to study technology. Over here, as you can see, Paris is a very good place too, as it has a lot of holdings. Just it depends on personal preference, although in the long run Constantinople is better, but to early game you can choose Paris as well. So this was just setting up the very first episode, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. I have been Galahad Dayne, and I will see you guys next time.